So how do you process and cope after a special needs diagnosis? How do you share the news with family and friends? And what are the key next steps to getting you moving forward? Today, I'm going to talk all about that in this video. Hey everyone, it's Joanne from This Uncommon Journey, where we're helping special needs families find a path forward every single day. On this channel, we share tips and tools and resources on everything from early intervention to guardianship to advocacy to so much more. We deal with even some tougher issues that special needs families have to get through, things like toileting and aggressive behavior and so much more. In case you don't know, I'm also mom to my own special warrior. That's Joe. If you're new here, why don't you consider subscribing? You can do so by hitting the like button below. And I'm glad you're here. Welcome to This Uncommon Journey. Today's topic is a big one, so let's get started. So this special needs journey is filled with some high highs, but also some low lows. Today we're going to be tackling one of those low lows. And you're probably here because over the past week or a few days or even past few hours, you have received a diagnosis that is literally rocking your world. Well, sit tight, relax, because I've got some straight up advice with 4 key strategies that are going to help. And stay tuned until the end of the video because I'm going to share my own personal strategy that has really helped me, not only through the time of Joe's diagnosis, but throughout the years where we've hit a couple rough patches on this uncommon journey. So stay tuned. Strategy number 1, respect the impact. Anger, sadness, disbelief. Let's face it, if you've received a medical or developmental diagnosis about your child, it is scary and it is overwhelming. And the first thing that you need to do is to recognize those feelings. Why? Because if you ignore them or if you don't pay any attention to them, the truth is that those emotions, those feelings are going to get bigger and scarier and even more difficult to manage. For me, right after Joe's diagnosis, I was completely overwhelmed by 2 things. The first thing being just how he was going to be. Will he walk? Will he talk? I was even having scary feelings about whether or not I would outlive him. The second feeling that I really had was this sense of total inadequacy. Did I have everything I needed in me to be able to give this child the very best life that he needed? To begin to process and manage some of those heavier emotions, I began by giving myself almost an emotional smackdown. And I began to realize that I couldn't control what was going to be going on next year or next month or maybe even next week. But what I could control and what I could commit to was giving Joe the very best care at that moment for that day. And reframing and kind of shortening that time frame for myself really started making a big difference. Here's something else I want you to remember. Really, our whole lives are this one big unknown. And regardless of how much we try and plan and control, there's going to be always those unexpected events. The loss of a job, the car accident, the loss of a family member that we love. And you need to kind of think back and think about how you've handled those situations in the past. And in doing so, remember, you pushed through, you struggled, you leaned on people that you love for support, and you found yourself pushing through and getting through those events. And you're going to do the same thing with this as well. The bottom line is that those tough emotions are real, but you want to avoid getting stuck in them. And if you need some additional help, just click on the link below. I've got some additional great strategies that can help you move along. So in strategy number 1, we talked about dealing with those strong, intense waves of emotions. Strategy number 2 is actually going to help keep those highs and lows at bay, and it's also going to help you feel your very best self every single day. So what is strategy number 2? It's to commit to taking care of yourself, and you need to do so starting right now. Depending upon the diagnosis, the days and the weeks ahead might end up getting busy, crazy busy. There might be more doctor's appointments or more procedures or evaluations that you're going to have to kind of push through. This is not normal parenting. This is exceptional parenting. And with that, you need a higher level of clarity and focus and energy and drive to kind of push you and your child forward on this new journey. So with that, you really need to commit to being your very best self. So what does that look like? How do you do that? Well, really, a lot of it gets back to the simple basics. Let's take a closer look. Number one, drink lots of water. Just staying hydrated can help increase your focus and your concentration, and as an added boost, it can also increase your energy levels. Also think about fueling your body in a good way. Our bodies are these impressive machines, so you want to put good fuel in them. So think about getting started with a good healthy diet and also limiting your sugar intake and keeping caffeine in moderation. The next one you want to think about is sleep, and I know for new parents and especially for special needs families and parents that sleep can be problematic. So think about trying to stick to some really good nighttime and wake up time sleep schedules. Think about using one of the sleep apps, again limiting caffeine to late at night, and just trying to get on a good sleep schedule is really going to help you because you're going to need to feel well rested and kind of really feel your best. The next one you want to think about is exercise. It's a proven endorphin booster, and it's really going to help you make you feel your very best. Think about getting outside to do walks or runs. There's a ton of great yoga videos and exercise videos also on YouTube, so think about that. It's not only a good energy booster, but like I said, it really helps elevate your mood, and it really helps kind of clear the cobwebs out for you mentally and emotionally as well. The other thing that you might want to consider is just getting outside. If you can, get outside for walks, get outside for runs, some good exercise, just go sit outside. The thing about being in a wide open space, fresh air, a change of scenery, it's all mentally and emotionally really good for you, and it's going to help you really feel your best and take the very best care that you can of yourself. Okay, so those are the big tips on taking care of yourself. And look, you're not going to hit these 100% out of the park every day. I get that. But if you could kind of strike a good balance, 80-20 rule is always a good way to go. 80% of the time, really commit to taking care of yourself, getting good sleep, drinking lots of water, getting exercise, eating well. It's really going to make a very good difference, a huge difference, in fact, in helping take care of not only you, but your child, and kind of really moving you both forward on this path that you're going to be taking now. Okay, so in strategy number one, we talked about the importance of respecting the emotions that you're feeling and working through those. In strategy number two, we talked about committing to really taking care of yourself, because it's not only going to help keep some of those stronger emotions at bay, but it's going to help you feel your very best every single day. Strategy number three is all about taking action. So I get it. Part of you wants to go sit in a corner, or you want to just pull the covers over your head and hide a bit, but that's not going to help at all. So for strategy number three, I'm asking you to just take action, commit to reaching out to the doctor for more information, following up with the insurance company, or doing more research on your child's diagnosis. And I can guarantee you this, by taking that action, you're kind of moving yourself even further out of the parent role into this advocate role. And once you begin to do that, you're going to have a sense of further calm, further control, because you're beginning to manage the situation for yourself. And with that, it's going to build momentum for you, and it's going to take you from a place of feeling really out of control to a place of feeling as though you've accomplished something, and that you're really better controlling how you're feeling and better controlling what's going on with your child. Okay, so here we are on strategy number four. Get the word out and get the help that you need. So depending upon your child's diagnosis, it might have come on suddenly, or it might have been built up over a couple weeks where family and friends are expecting more information or more news from you. The one thing you want to keep in mind is that it's really an emotional, draining time for you, and to be spending time on the phone and kind of reliving points or giving specifics on diagnosis and treatments and evaluations can be really overwhelming and can be really mentally and physically and emotionally draining. So that said, you might want to consider just focusing on 2 or 3 key family members and calling them and giving them the information. And then to move off that platform of the phone and really get on an email. And with that, you'll be able to kind of give email updates to family and friends with regard to what's going on with your child. And it's going to make everybody feel better because they're going to be in the know about what's going on. It's going to help you kind of really line it all out and give the information that you want to give. And it's one time, and you can just kind of send that email out. In that email or in these subsequent emails, you can also let people know exactly what you need. The thing is, people want to help, especially if they know that you're going through a difficult time, your family's going through a difficult time. So as you're sending out these emails or with the next email, think about what you want to need. Think about what you need and ask for help. Some things might be setting up a meal chain for you and your family so that if there's going to be subsequent doctor's appointments or evaluations or even a procedure for your child, that everyone's kind of in place so that meals are covered. Think about also possible play dates for your other children or carpools or something like that, if that's what's needed. Another thing could be that you're going to have to reach out to work. Think about what you need with that. Is it additional time off? Is it a more flexible schedule? So take some time to really craft what it is exactly that you and your family need during this time, and then structure it all out. Put it in an email to family and friends. Put it in an email to work or to your boss, as that makes sense. And then with that, you'll be able to kind of structure your world a little bit better, and knowing that you're getting the help that you need as well. So keep in mind, this is not a sprint. It's going to be a marathon, and it's a new way of life for you. This is really an uncommon journey. So with that, you want to be able to really set in place some good practices in terms of good boundaries for you and your family, and some healthy habits for you and your family. And you want to be able to really do the very best that you can to be the best advocate for your child. So putting all these strategies in place are really going to help. So that being said, those are my 4 best strategies, but I also want to share with you this one kind of different or more unusual strategy that I've used not only during Joe's diagnosis time, because we had subsequent diagnosis with him. It was over a couple of month period, so it was really overwhelming. But I've used it throughout his whole life. Joe's 23 now, and there's been other medical issues with him, other developmental issues with him, and for the times that I've really felt most overwhelmed, this strategy has really, really helped me a lot. And it's kind of simple, but what it is that I do is I just slow my world down, and at that moment I will just watch him. I will watch him sleeping. I will watch him playing with his siblings. I will watch him eating. I will watch him being silly or laughing. And what that does is that it really helps ground me in the present moment, because when I talked earlier a lot about really feeling overwhelmed and kind of getting too far ahead of yourself about this idea of what's going to be happening next week or next month or next year, your mind can really go crazy, and it can really take you into some darker places, some places that make you feel overwhelmed, and some places that aren't healthy or aren't productive for you. So with that, if you can just stay very grounded in the moment and really look at your child and look at the perfection of who they are right in that moment, I guarantee you it really helps. Like I said, it helps ground you, and it helps kind of keep all those more overwhelming feelings at bay. So those are for my 4 key strategies in helping you as you kind of navigate this kind of overwhelming time with regard to your child's diagnosis. We're here for you at this uncommon journey. Please take a look at the other videos that we have available for you. If your child's going to be eligible for possible early intervention, our next up video is going to talk all about that, and it's going to give you a lot of key information and key strategies about what you need to know about that. And if this video is helping you, or if this information is something that you would like to share, please do so. Comment below. I'd love to hear what you're thinking, what information you need, and what questions you might have, because we're always looking for additional videos, informational videos that we want to be sharing with everyone. So with that, be well, be healthy, and welcome again to this Uncommon Journey.